Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to look at something absolutely remarkable, the literal architecture of human connection. We spend so much time analyzing complex systems, but today we're turning our focus to the mechanics of empathy. We're going to walk through a beautiful story of two women, and as you'll see, we'll discover exactly how kindness creates lifetime bonds, and how just one single, selfless act can completely rewrite the entire trajectory of a family. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to think for a second about a time in your own life when you felt, well, just completely overwhelmed. And out of nowhere, a total stranger stepped in to lighten your load. Maybe it was something incredibly minor, or maybe it was literally exactly what you needed to just get through that day. How did that make you feel? Right? That feeling is the absolute foundation of what we're looking at today. We're going to examine how that initial spark of relief doesn't just disappear, it actually creates a bridge.
Section 1. The Spark of Connection. It really all starts with stepping out of our own bubbles to notice the vulnerability of others.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark visual contrast between these two women right before their lives intersected. On one side, we have Mariam. She's got this busy, loud household, she's financially stable, and she's up before the sun for her kids. But then, right across the road, we have Aisha. She's older, living alone with her teenage son Hamza, and she is silently struggling just to make ends meet. Basically, they're neighbors, but they're complete strangers. That is, until one morning, their lives cross paths over something as mundane as a ridiculously heavy basket of vegetables that Aisha is struggling to carry.
So Miriam notices her struggling and steps in to help. And when Asha politely refuses, insisting she can manage it herself, Miriam doesn't just walk away. Instead, she gently takes the basket and delivers this incredibly powerful truth. She says, sometimes accepting help is also a form of kindness. I mean, wow. This wasn't just physical help, right? Miriam was establishing that allowing someone to assist you is actually the critical first step to genuine connection. It breaks down those walls of pride and isolation we all build up.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, because it's like a mathematical expansion of goodwill. What starts as just a shared walk with a vegetable basket on day one snowballs. Over days and weeks, Miriam starts helping with chores, and Aisha helps Miriam's kids with their studies. It's amazing how a single, tiny investment of empathy on that first day compounds into this massive, multi-generational bond that ends up spanning decades. But of course, no bond is truly forged until it's really tested under pressure.
Which brings us to Section 2, the cycle of reciprocity.
Now take a look at the parallel sacrifices here as the intensity really ramps up. Soon after their friendship begins, Aisha's son Hamza falls severely sick, and she has literally zero money for medicine. Without even a second thought, Mariam takes her own savings to buy it, just calling it help from a sister. But then, the roles reverse. A devastating blow hits Mariam's family. Her husband loses his job. When Mariam finally breaks down from the stress, Aisha instinctively steps right up. She brings out a small piece of jewelry that belonged to her mother, the absolute most valuable thing she owns, and offers it to Mariam. When the other person had absolutely nothing, they each sacrificed their most precious reserves. So, the crucial point is this piece of dialogue. When Mariam is understandably shocked, Aisha tells her, "Because you taught me that motherhood doesn't end at the door of our own homes." This proves that shared trauma and mutual, unconditional support actually forged chosen families. Aisha learned from Miriam's first sacrifice that true care has no boundaries at all, and now she's reflecting that exact same boundless care right back at her. Thankfully, the story takes a turn for the better. Mariam's husband finds a new job a few weeks later. The crisis passes, and the family gets back on its feet. But the landscape of their relationship, it has permanently changed. As they're celebrating the good news, they realize they literally rescued each other when they were at rock bottom. In this incredibly joyous moment, Mariam's daughter actually runs up to Aisha, gives her a huge hug, and calls her a second mother. The cycle of reciprocity is complete. They aren't just neighbors anymore. As Mariam perfectly summarizes, they are two mothers but one heart. Moving on to Section 3, letting go to grow. So years pass, and a totally new kind of challenge pops up. Aisha's son, Hamza, receives this incredible opportunity to study in another city. Now, while Aisha is obviously overjoyed for his success, deep down she is completely terrified. She's lived her entire life for this boy. The thought of facing life alone in the village brings all her deepest fears of isolation bubbling right back to the surface. Picture it, we're at the bus station, and the heavy reality of this goodbye is just hanging in the air. And this brilliantly illustrates the hardest sacrifice in any long-term relationship. As Asha is crying, really struggling to let her son go, Mariam is right there beside her, and she offers this beautiful bit of wisdom. A mother's love isn't a chain, it's a pair of wings. She's reminding Asha that a parent, or any true friend really, sometimes has to let go of the hand they spent years holding just so the other person can fly. It's a painful truth for sure, but it is the ultimate act of unselfish love. Section 4. Family Beyond Bloodlines.
Fast forward, and Hamza returns to the village as a highly successful adult. He finds the two women sitting together under the exact same old tree where their bond first blossomed years ago. He walks up, hugs his mother tightly, and then turns to Miriam. And he doesn't just say a simple thank you. His words bring the entire journey full circle. He says, "You're the mother who taught my mother that kindness has no limits." It's incredible. He formally honors Miriam as his second mother, validating every single sacrifice, every shared tear, and every heavy basket carried over the years.
The core message here is just absolutely profound. Motherhood, or this concept of deep, nurturing care, is so much bigger than bloodlines. A stranger can literally become your family. A helping hand on a random Tuesday morning can forge a lifetime relationship. Love doesn't divide when you share it. It only grows exponentially stronger. In a heart that is truly open, there is always room for another.
So, distilling this whole explainer down, the mechanics of forming these unbreakable bonds really come down to 4 actionable steps. First, you have to look up and notice a need outside your own bubble. Second, offer what you can without a single expectation of return. Third, and honestly this is often the hardest part, you have to accept help gracefully. Let others be kind to you. And finally, share the triumphs together. When one rises, both rise. This right here is the blueprint for creating a chosen family.
To wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. If love mathematically multiplies when it's shared, who in your own neighborhood, your workplace, or your life right now is carrying a heavy basket all alone, just waiting for a simple act of kindness to become family? The opportunity for connection is always there. We just have to be willing to reach out and take the weight.